Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you all are fine. Dear students, I warm-heartedly welcome you all in today's science class. Students, today we are going to complete our lesson, Foods for Growth and Repair. Students, you must know that this is the second part of the lesson. In the first part, we have discussed about protein, its importance, and its sources. Well, let's have a quick recap of the topic that we have discussed in the first part of the lesson. And here it is. First, we discussed about protein. What is protein? Protein is a nutrient that we get from the food. It is very necessary. And why it is necessary? Because it helps in our growth and building our body. Getting? Protein is also called as body building nutrient. What it is called as? Body building nutrient. Then we discussed about its function. Protein helps to make new cells. It builds our body and repair damaged parts. Protein grows our muscles. It keeps our body strong and healthy. It helps to do different jobs around the body that are necessary to keep us alive, like eating, moving, breathing, and all other functions. We have discussed all these things in detail in the first part of the lesson. So, here are the sources of protein. Protein is found in both plants and animals' food. Some food contains more protein than others. There are a lot of protein in meat, fish, eggs, nuts, rice, and beans. Then we talked about eggs. Eggs contain highest quality of protein. What does it contain? Highest quality of protein. Egg white is almost all protein and water, while egg yolk contain different nutrients like fats and other vitamins are found in egg yolk. We have also discussed about milk. Milk is called as complete food. And why it is called as complete food? Because milk contains a lot of protein as well as some carbohydrates and fats are also found in milk. That's why milk is called as complete food. And it is good for us, especially for growing babies. Getting means it is important for all of you because you all are growing. So what you need? You need to have a lot of protein in our diet. And what is the best sources of protein? Milk, egg, fishes, and different types of nuts and beans. These are the main sources of protein. Getting? If you consume all these things in our diet, you can get enough amount of protein according to your body requirement. Okay, beta? For further details, please watch the first part of the lesson. So, a question is written here. Who are vegetarians? Yes, students. What do you think? Who are vegetarians? The word vegetarians is also showing what is it. If you focus on the word vegetarian, you would get the idea. What is it? Those people who eat a lot of plants food, they are called as vegetarians. Getting? Who are vegetarians? Those people who eat a lot of plants food. They do not eat meat. But there are few vegetarians who might eat eggs, cheese, and drink milk. Even though these foods also comes from animals. But there are only few vegetarians who eat egg, cheese or milk. Most of the vegetarians do not eat meat or any food that comes from animals. What they eat? They eat a lots of plants food. Getting? A question is written here. How do vegetarians fulfill their requirement of protein? How do vegetarians fulfill their requirement of protein? Yes, students. What do you think? So, as we have discussed that vegetarians eat a lot of plants food. So what they eat? They eat vegetables, different type of beans, rice, beans, peas, and cereals. All these things provide them protein. Getting? How vegetarians fulfill their requirement of protein? By eating a lot of vegetables, nuts, beans, rice, and cereals. Okay, another question is here. What is cell? Yes, students. Any guesses? What is cell? Yes. Okay, wait. This is not the cell that we use in our toys. This is something different. And what is it? Let's see. Students, have you ever seen the laborers when they are building any wall? You might have seen this, you know? So, to make a wall, what they need? They need blocks. In the same way, human body also consists of millions of tiny building blocks. Human body consists of millions of tiny building blocks. And these tiny building blocks are called as cell. What is cell? Cell is the building blocks of our body. We can also say that cell is the basic unit of life. What is cell? Basic unit of life. These cells are tightly packed together. In our body, about 50,000 million cells are present. How many cells are present in our body? About 50,000 million cells are present in our body. These cells are very small. That's why We cannot see them with our naked eye. Getting it, students? These cells are very small and we cannot see them with our naked eye. So what we will do if we want to see the cells? We need to have microscope. What do we need to see cells? We need microscope. And what is microscope? Have you ever seen it? Yes. Okay, here it is. This is microscope. And what is microscope? It is an instrument to see tiny particles. Getting? What is microscope? An instrument to see tiny particles. And I told you that cells are very small or very tiny. That's why we need microscope to see them. With our naked eye, we cannot see these cells. So what we need to see the cells? We need microscope. Cells are very delicate. Every second, millions of cells die and new cells form. Students, do you know? If you tap on the table, hundreds of cells die at the moment. Get it? Why hundreds of cells die at the moment? Because these cells are very delicate. In our body, continuously old cells are dying and new cells are forming. Do you know how new cells form? Let's see. Cells make new cells by dividing into two, and then each half grows bigger. Look at here. This is an old cell. And this old cell, it starts dividing from the half. Then each half starts growing. Later, both halves get separated. Here it is. Both halves get separated, and in this way, two new cells form. Get it? And old cells divide into two halves, then each half grows separately and form two new cells. And to make these new cells, what we need? We need to have protein in our diet. We need protein to make new cells. That's why protein is called as body building nutrient. Is it clear? Which nutrient do we need to make new cells? We need protein to make new cells. Every cell has different lifespan. Every cell has different lifespan. Here are a few examples, like blood cells die after 30 hours. Skin cells die after 19 days. And bone cells die after or between 15 to 25 years. Blood cells die after 30 hours. Skin cells die after 19 days. Bone cells die after and between 15 to 25 years. Getting it, students? Now keep their lifespan in your mind. So let's have a quick review of what we have discussed in this lesson. The very first thing that we discussed in the first part in detail is what is protein. And we discussed that protein is a nutrient that we get from the food. It is also called as body building nutrient. And why do we need protein? Because it builds our body and repair damaged parts. The most important work that the protein do is it helps to make new cells. Getting students? Then we discussed about sources of protein. What are the main sources of protein? Fish, eggs, milk, meat, and nuts. These all are the main sources of protein. Then we discussed vegetarians. Who are vegetarians? Vegetarians are those people who eat a lot of plants food. They do not eat meat. So, if they do not eat meat, how do they fulfill their requirement? They fulfill their requirement of protein by eating a lot of vegetables, different type of nuts, beans, and cereals. Then we discussed about cells. What is cell? Cell is the building block of our body. What is cell? Building block of our body. We can say that cell is the basic unit of life. Then we discussed about cell formation, that how new cells form. The old cell divides into two halves and each half grows separately and form two new cells. And which nutrient do we need to perform all these things? We need protein. If we eat enough amount of protein in our diet, the new cells form. Each cell has different lifespan. Each cell has different lifespan. For example, blood cells die after 30 hours. Skin cells die after 19 days. And bone cells die after or between 15 to 25 years. This is all that we have discussed in this lesson. I hope there isn't any confusion now. So, it's time to have an activity. Ready, students? Here it is. The first question is, which nutrient do we need to make new cells? Which nutrient do we need to make new cells? Yes. What is the answer? The answer is protein. We need protein to make new cells. Question number 2 is, what is the basic unit of life? What is the basic unit of life? Yes. And the right answer is cell. Cell is the basic unit of life. So the third question is, how many cells are present in our body? Yes, students. Answer please. How many cells are present in our body? And the right answer is About 50,000 million cells are present in our body. How many cells? 50,000 million cells. So let's go towards the next question. Question number 4 is, what is the building block of our body? And here is the answer. Cell. Cell is the building block of our body. And the last question is, what do we need to see cells? Yes, students. What do we need to see cells? Yes, right. Microscope. We need microscope to see cells. Very well done, students. Good job. Thank you so much. I hope there isn't any confusion in the lesson. Allah Hafiz.